Wowza, what a game between the Colorado Avalanche and the St. Louis Blues. That was excitement among excitement. 2 words, Jordan Binnington. And yes, that's 2 words because word number 3 was bleeped. What a fantastic game all around. And I think this game went the exact way we talked about in our predictions leading up to this series. We're going to talk all about how we think this was very expected. The outcome is good actually for both teams, and I'm very much looking forward to this series. We're also going to talk about the craziest comment I have ever seen in 2 years of running a YouTube channel. 2 years, 1 year. It's only been 1 year. It's just over 1 year. And thank you to all of you for getting us this far, this fast. We're going to talk about Kevin Bieksa for the American fans down there. Canadian fans may have watched this. American fans, you might have missed them. We're going to talk all about the players. This was a crazy game. We're going to talk about a lot of stuff. So let's get after it. Let's talk about it. And Avs fans, Blues fans, you were with us in the first round. You were with us in our predictions. You've let your comments be known down below. There's a lot of amazing Blues fans here watching this channel. There's a lot of amazing Blues fans defending their team from the tyranny that is Coach Ryan, saying they were slightly overrated coming into these playoffs. But I think they changed a little bit of the narrative today with me. And Avs fans, welcome to Hot Garbage Sports. I'm sorry I didn't cover your first round bye against the Nashville Predators other than Darcy Kuemper's poor eye injury. So you're on to real hockey now. It was a fun first round, but you were truly in a battle. And you're in a battle with the St. Louis Blues and especially Jordan Binnington. So both you guys smash thumbs up, smash like, subscribe to this channel if you haven't already. We love having you all here. And if you want to go ahead and join our members page down below, we have one. It's an option. You don't have to take it. Just a comment, a thumbs up goes a long way for this video. That's always free, but the membership channel gets you a lot of cool perks, benefits, and it helps you support an independent content creator who goes ahead and reinvests literally every dollar back into making these videos, subscriptions, article places like The Athletic, gear. It all goes back into making cool stuff for all of you. So you can be assured of that. And then you can join these amazing, amazing fans of mine here. Big shout out to all of them. Thank you so much. And we also have the super thanks down below. Now let's go ahead and talk about the game. How do we put this when we say it went as expected? We said that the Colorado Avalanche were the best 5-on-5 team in this series. They were dominant 5-on-5. The advanced analytics showed us that. Our eye test showed us that. And this game shows us it's only one game, but we have an 82-game season. We broke down over this talking about it. We said that the Avalanche have the deepest team. We said that the Avalanche have 2 line 1s. They have a very good line 3, and their line 4 gets a little bit of love. We said the Avalanche have very deep defense, and we said sometimes the Avalanche struggle on the power play and on the penalty kill. And by struggle, I mean the number 1 team in the West right now, not having the number 1 stat category and everything, because the St. Louis Blues beat them in size, and the St. Louis Blues have a better power play and penalty kill than the Colorado Avalanche. We also said that Darcy Kuemper is the better goalie than Jordan Binnington going into this, but this game would absolutely flip that narrative. It is awesome, is it not, Blues fans, to see OG Jordan Binnington back? He struggled the entire year. I love a good success story. I love a guy rebounding, and Binnington does it this game. Massive confidence for the Blues team. Blues fans playing in front of a guy like that, he can absolutely steal and turn this series, because when we talk about long-term results, we talk about advanced analytics, we talk about what should happen. That's what's going to happen over like an infinite game to 1,000 game sample size. This is only 7 games, so the Blues only got to squeak out 4, and we saw today how they could do that regardless of the onslaught of the Colorado Avalanche. So the Colorado Avalanche 5-on-5, what do they hit? 10,000 posts? It was 9. How many times did they have breakaways? It felt like a billion. I think it was about 6. It was about 6 breakaways, the 2-on-1s, the 3-on-2s, the odd man rushes, the power play pressure. The Avs were incredible all over the transition zone today, all over with speed. They outmatched the St. Louis Blues 5-on-5. And why? Well, we said the St. Louis Blues 5-on-5. I hate having to harp on this because the stats say it. They were in the bottom half of the NHL for shots for and shots against. They were just an excellent special teams group. They're headed by a group of amazing veterans that know how to get it done. And this game played out exactly like that. Colorado dominated that 5-on-5 play. Binnington stands on his head. St. Louis hangs around, and because they hang around on the play of Jordan Binnington, they are able to score right off the bat. A Cale Makar turnover becomes a Ryan O'Reilly goal, and then how do they tie up the game? on the power play with Jordan Kyrou. Jordan Kyrou, we said, was the X factor on line 3 for the St. Louis Blues, and he definitely was that tonight, taking them to overtime. All you need to do is get to overtime and score 1 goal. So even though Colorado won tonight, even though Colorado looked dominant, it really is this close when it comes down to 1 goal. And if you don't remember this, Western Conference fans, in the East last year, Montreal played Toronto in a playoff series. Montreal ended up winning it, and in Game 6, the Leafs outshot the Habs 13-2, and on the second shot, the Habs won the game. Habs won the series playing this way against the Leafs. St. Louis can repeat this against the Avs. It's possible. So it was a very good game on both halves. So if you want to take the narrative as Colorado is that you're going to dominate this and win this in 4, I can't argue that. That's actually a reasonable play after seeing the sheer dominating factor that Colorado had in this game. And if you want to be a St. Louis fan and comment down below and say, I don't know, we can hang around on the back of good goaltending, we could take advantage of our power play, and our wily veterans can find ways to get it done because the Avs haven't been past round 2 in some time and they're going to choke. Hey, this game may tell you that this series could lend you to that narrative. So we're just going to have to let it play out. We're going to have to let it see. You want to ask me what I think? I already had the playoff preview video. I just took the victory lap there for 7 minutes. I think it's going to be the Avs in 6. I think the Blues are going to sneak out 2 of them, but I think the Avs are the better team in this series. I see no reason to change my mind after this game, but we take it game by game, right? Let's go ahead and take a look at the sheer dominance of this game by heading over to moneypuck.com. Let's go take a look at the heat map. You can see the Colorado Avalanche scoring chances. They were massive. Every little dot on the right-hand side is a shot. Bigger dots are great scoring chances. Biggest dot ends up being goals. You can see how much they limited the St. Louis Blues, but you only need a couple shots in order to win the game. So Jordan Binnington was brilliant. If you head over to moneypuck.com, you can actually drag your cursor over it and you can start being a nerd like Coach Ryan D, and you can see what the chance of scoring is. So you can see rebound chance, shot on net, 55.7 chance of scoring, 93.5 chance of being on net, etc., etc., etc. Mackinnon, wrist shot, offensive zone. I love this stuff because I really like diving into little things like this and seeing what makes the difference in a game. Maybe you do too or not, but either way, a picture says 1,000 words, and I think this picture says 1,000 words as to how the game went. Scroll up, we got what's called a deserve to win-o-meter. This isn't made up. This isn't a joke. This is not made to clown around. This goes ahead and takes all the statistics from all the shots, the line matchups, and says in 1,000 game simulations played exactly the same way, the Colorado Avalanche would have won this 91% of the time. So the Blues had a chance to win. We always talk about chances to win. So they were in this game the whole way, but because of the sheer volume of shots by Colorado, that's why the deserve a win-o-meter goes over all the way to the left for the Avs. This is a very easy way to track dominance in a game. So Colorado was dominant. There it is in chart form. We also get really great comments down below. 98% of them are great. 1% of them are ridiculous and make me laugh. And 1% of them are just like, I don't know what you're talking about, but milk's come out of my nose at this point in time. I'm going to throw one up here. I've blacked out the name. I'm not here to make fun of anybody or rip anybody online, but like, I've seen a lot of these right now, and I just can't not call this out. St. Louis has 3 number 1 lines. Like, there is this weird bias and just hyper focus to your team, and this is what I see, and you'll never shake me off of it. Hey, that's cool. You can enjoy the game that way. You don't have 3 line 1s. It doesn't exist. Like, you have a top 6, you have a line 1, you can have a line 1A, line 1B. We've seen that in the NHL, but you do not have line 1A, B, and C. That doesn't exist. You can have 3 good centermen. You're never going to have 3 equivalent line 1s because line 1 in the NHL is just so far dominant than other lines. So the Blues do have a line 1A, line 1B, but they have a true line 3. And this team, I've said it, they run their top 6. We all want to talk about Jordan Kyrou, but this coach, Berube, is going to run his top 6. It's what he does. When you play against the Avs, when they put those big 2 lines out, the Kadri line and the Mackinnon line, you have to run your 6 against them. You're not going to match your line 3 against them, and there's no way Colorado is going to keep their top 6 off the ice. It's just the way it goes. So you don't have the luxury of rolling top 9s this way. You're going to roll 6, then you're going to put 9 in, and this game really highlighted it. Why? Because line 1 and 2 got almost all of the ice time. It was a very little amount of ice time for the Kyrou line. Kyrou ends up scoring on the power play, though. And how do I know that's what ended up happening? Follow me, kiddos. We go to the same website here. We just scroll down a little bit lower and we see the O'Reilly line is definitely the line Berube's leaning on. 14 minutes in this game in terms of time on ice with 5-on-5 play. That's all we're looking at, 5-on-5 play, right? There's going to, of course, be power play. So this doesn't add up to, however many bajillion minutes they played. Thomas, Buchnevich, and Tarasenko play 13 minutes. So that's what I mean. Line 1, line 1A, line 1B. So they're pretty much equivalent at this point in time. And then here's your third line with Kyrou. Kyrou, 6 minutes. The game is measured in terms of your top elite talent. And that's what the Blues end up doing here. And you can see for the depth of their defensemen as well too. Remember I talk about the fact that your first line pairing is going to actually end up eating up nearly 50% of the ice time. It wasn't 50% this time, but they heavily leaned on Parayko and Leddy. Falk and Rosen ended up with only 10 minutes, which is shocking when you think about how good Justin Falk is. When we go ahead and we take a look at the Colorado Avalanche here, what you end up seeing is the Avs actually ran their fourth line the exact same amount of time as St. Louis. I lost train of thought. As St. Louis ran their third line. So the Helm line ends up getting similar minutes to the Kyrou line. That's how deep this Avalanche line is. That is going to allow your top two lines to rest and be effective. So their third line ends up playing 10 minutes, and I would not call this 3-line ones. No way, Jose. You end up with a true line 1, a true line 2, and a true line 3 in terms of minute distribution. This is what all coaches gun for, to be able to play lines in this percentage. This is basically perfect bench management by the Colorado Avalanche. Then you take a look at their defensemen. How about Toews and Makar? I told you these guys are going to eat up a massive amount of ice time. They eat up nearly 50% of the 5-on-5 minutes, but because their defensemen are so deep, look at what their third pairing gets. They really do get a lot of balance across their lineup. This is a full team. This is a complete team. This is a team that can overwhelm the Blues just by rolling their 4 lines as well as their 3 pairs of defensemen. They're deeper than the Blues. Again, I'm not going to sell you on it if you're already sold on the fact that the Blues are just as deep or deeper. But the Blues, in order to win this series, are going to have to do it on the power play. They're going to have to do it off the back of Jordan Binnington. They're going to have to keep pucks out of their net, and they're going to have to do it like O'Reilly did by turning over mistakes by a young Cale Makar and burying it on Kuemper when Kuemper gets tired. Now, I said in the broadcast up here in Canada that that Bieksa ended up saying, look, I blame the Avs for this one. They let him hang around, and Friedman and the rest of the panel are going, what are you talking about, man? Like, the Blues played their game. You can't go ahead and blame the Avs for it. Well, there you go. NHL player on the panel, defenseman. I agree with him. I've always agreed with this. I said coaches and players talk this way. When a good team like Colorado has their foot on the gas, the only way they look at each other and go, why did we let them hang around? We were in control. We have to do it. Elite teams and elite talent need to step up in the face of anything. So Binnington and the Blues played great, but the Avs are going to look at themselves exactly like Bieksa says, exactly like I said about Gaudreau in the other series. The elites have to step up. They got to get it done. At least they got it done in overtime. So this right here is the O'Reilly goal, and it's plays like this as to why I struggle to give Makar the #1 crown of ultimate super defenseman. He's amazing. He's top 3 for sure. He probably is #1. Let's be real, Avs fans. But you know I always flip back and forth between the top 5 defensemen in the league. I talk a lot about Hedman. I talk a lot about Yossi, McAvoy, Makar's in there. Fox is in there. I love Makar. He's my favorite personal choice out of all these guys. I love this guy, babyface Cale Makar, but he's still got a little bit of growing to do. And as he grows, he is definitely going to be the #1 most dominant defenseman, maybe in NHL history, since a guy like Paul Coffey. That's a big statement. So I think highly of this guy, but he makes a mistake here. He puts that puck down and he turns it over right there into Ryan O'Reilly. And this is fine. This is what a veteran play does. You might say, hey, you know what? Young kid, he didn't mean to do it. You know, stuff happens, whatever. But Makar has to learn to move his feet here. He gets standing still. So the puck ends up hitting his feet. What he needs to do instead of skating it away is he needs to start moving his feet first. As a coach, we teach players at all levels. Feet. Your feet go first. Move with your feet before you even shoulder check, think, or go. Your feet have to get going. Feet first, then your brain. You're looking around where you're going, then your hands. In that order. That's what you're going to be moving. That's what you're going to be engaging. So if you always want to have your head on a swivel and be thinking about spatial awareness and where you're going to go out on the ice, but sometimes it just doesn't work that way, especially at levels like this in the NHL where you have no time. So you really want to program people to instincts, and instincts are to always move your feet. As soon as you have that puck on your stick, do not get caught flat-footed. Don't make a pass flat-footed. Don't do anything standing still in the NHL. That's what happens to Makar here. Yes, he only had milliseconds in order to make that decision, but he got caught flat-footed, not moving his feet. Unfortunately, that leads to that quick turnover there, and then you can see he's caught flat-footed here. It is what it is. Kuemper, this is not on Kuemper at all. There's nothing you can do as a goalie. You're not expecting this either. Great play by O'Reilly. Beautiful backhand move here. 1-0 Blues. Nichushkin and Girard end up scoring in the second period to make this 2-1 for the Avalanche. And if I sit here and break down every Avalanche great chance, every Avalanche opportunity here, literally it's just going to be a highlight reel of the amazingness that is Jordan Binnington and the well-doneness Yeah, well doneness, not a word. Oh well. The well doneness of the St. Louis Blues getting rebounds out of there, pausing the play and using team defense to at least ensure that they limited some of the shots, but unfortunately that 5-on-5 team defense reared its ugly head here because it was a shooting gallery for the Avs. But I do want to go ahead and check out that power play goal by Jordan Kyrou. And why I want to check it out is because we know the Avs got the puck out of the zone with 13 seconds left. It's what you want to do. As they get the puck out of the zone, though, they're desperate to change. You can see that they end up changing. If we go a couple frames forward, you can see almost the entire Avalanche team trying to get that change, but that puck just didn't get far enough down the ice. Because they end up going for a change, we end up using a fast break, which I know is a term in basketball. It's not a term in hockey, but it's a valid term in this situation nonetheless, because we have a Blues player way up the ice ready to score. That fast break pass allows the Blues to spring free, and now you've got a desperate Colorado Avalanche trying to go ahead and make sure nothing happens here. You got a cold Darcy Kuemper at this point. He's made a couple saves, but the nerves start building up here on a goalie no matter how elite they are. And what you see in panic here is not only a beautiful toe drag, but you just see sheer overcommitment by the Colorado Avalanche. Even the best players, the best team in the world, they can get panicked and put out of position. That's what happens to the Avs here. Fully out of position. It's not what you want. Toe drag by Kyrou, just gorgeous. And then he ends up into the most dangerous spot on the ice between the hash marks and bang, beats Darcy Kuemper. That little angle change that he ends up doing, this is a big deal for shooters teams. So if you know, I mean, most of you probably know this, but if you haven't seen it, this little toe drag that you just saw him do there, just that tiny little toe drag changes the angle enough that it actually makes it problematic for a goalie. So you can see it here again. This is a beautiful snapshot. We wouldn't call this a wrist shot. This is a snapshot. He ends up having the puck in front of him. He drags the puck through along his stick through along the ice in order to create a snapshot motion. He scores low. It's just an awesome little nuance of the game that I'm obsessed with. The overtime winner here by Colorado. It just goes to show you here what is going on out there on the ice. It is a shooting gallery here. Take a look at the St. Louis Blues. They are unable to settle themselves down in the D zone. I've seen this all year. I've watched it all year. This is where they struggle. 51 shots to 25. This is 52 at this point. Jordan Binnington makes a big save from the point. You guys know I love point shots. You got to get point shots, but they're not a high percentage scoring chance from there. Binnington makes the second save. That's the second save from him. That's unbelievable. Now you need a team that can limit shots and get out of it, but you have a team that is totally out of position at this point in time right now. They're trying to find their position, and in trying to find their position, we do what's called widening the zone. The whole key for a defensive zone structure is you do not want to widen the zone. You need to get in here and you need to cut the ice into quarters and into halves. The defensive zone system only works when you're able to keep them contained to one area of the ice. As soon as the offensive team can widen the zone one way or widen the zone by going north to south, called lengthening the zone, they start getting the advantage, and that's what happens here. You can also see Jordan Binnington is down and out right now after making 2 desperation saves. Goalies can only stay in position for 1, maybe 2 shots maximum before they're going to find themselves out of position. And then as they find themselves out of position, you see him flopping down like a fish here. That puck ends up going to the top, and you might think, okay, well, he's gotten a chance to get up and get ready. Not true whatsoever. It takes more than a split second for a goalie to be able to find his angle. And how is a goalie supposed to be able to find his angle between his posts here when you're looking up to the top, looking through 2 screens after getting off his back? He's not. He's just going to find the best angle he can at that time, and it's going to be a pretty damn good angle. He's an NHL goalie, but it's not good enough at this point in time. So he ends up having to move. He's stuck behind a full screen here. That full screen, you saw it. Just that little pump fake. So let's go back and see it again. We did that with Kyrou. These little things freeze goalies. Defensemen never used to do this. They used to just be mongoloids that would end up slapping the puck. So let's go ahead and get my face out of the way. Look at that. Little fake. Little fake. He didn't just shoot. Little fake ends up going through. One more time, just for good measure. Little fake. Little fake. Goal. Love it. Love it. I watched Adam Fox do this in the other series. We're watching defensemen do this more and more. They're becoming so offensively gifted, offensively minded. I mentioned Paul Coffey earlier. I know there were defensemen back in the day of Coffey, guys like that, way back in the day of Orr, that they got tons of points, tons, like I think over 100. It was crazy. And then defensemen went down to more the shutdown, the Chris Pronger prototype, if you will. Scott Niedermayer then changed the game because he was a smooth skating, beautiful son of a gun. And now we have the hybrid defenseman who is both defensively sound and offensively gifted, and everybody can do it. So I love what we're seeing from point players right now. It's incredible. They're thinking like goal scorers. There's nothing Binnington's going to do on that. How the St. Louis Blues need to win this game is Berube needs to get their team defense tightened up and put together. Maybe you can, maybe you can't against the juggernaut like the Colorado Avalanche, but Berube is going to have to find a way to take a team that has team defense in the bottom 20 of the NHL and get it up to some type of serviceable if they want to go ahead and survive and win against the Colorado Avalanche. But let me know down below in the comments. We'll catch you guys in game 2. I still think the Blues are going to take 2 of these in this series. It's going to be tight. Can't wait for the next one.